Okay, thanks for joining me today. This is what we're going to be making. It's, as you know, I'm making a boho journal and I'm making a ring bound journal. So this is one side of one leaf that will come out of the ring bound journal. The other side we'll make tomorrow or the day after, depending how I feel. This is a pocket here on the front, and it's got these gorgeous, the most gorgeous things in the world, little tags in there. They're still waiting for the holes in all of them. They're waiting to be backed and then zigzagged all the way around, but that doesn't affect how it looks. We've also got these two little journaling notebooks, and they fit into this back pocket here. And then at the very back, we've got a doily. I mean, that in itself looks gorgeous, but these little journaling books, don't lose sight of the fact that you are, in amongst all the prettiness and everything else, you are actually making a journal for somebody to use. So you need to have lots of space for them to journal. And this it's got 8 sheets in it, quite a good size, so you can get a lot of journaling done there. You can take it out, you can take it away for the day, or you can take the whole thing away for the day. It'll fit in a handbag or purse, and that's it. That's what we are aiming to do today. So it may surprise you to learn, particularly those of you who've watched other videos that I've done, that today I think I'm organised. Well, I'm pretty organised for me anyway. So these are the pre-cut out pieces, unbelievably. This is the back part that I've just shown you. This is the pocket. This is the little front pocket. So that's kind of how it's going to look, but of course it's going to be adorned. And you can see already that this is very, very shiny, and it's really in keeping with our boho journal. So this needs to be folded down across the top just for a bit of added strength. Because this is just it's copier paper, but it's a bit thicker than ordinary copier paper. It's fine. I think it's square there. So just to give it a bit of support, I'm just going to fold that top part over and glue it down. Ordinary glue stick is just fine for this. It's just paper onto paper. So thank you everyone who's been leaving me comments on earlier videos that I've done. I do read them all, and I'm really grateful to you for taking the time to leave me a message. Some of you say, the loveliest things, and I'm really, really pleased to read them. So thank you. Of course, if you could subscribe to my channel, that would be fantastic. Right, so that's going to go on there. Then behind that, we're going to have 2 little booklets, as I showed you at the start, which we have to make, and I'm going to make them out of this. This is ordinary 12 by 12 scrapbook paper, double-sided. So when it's folded over and you open it up, it's not just blank. I mean, it's not, the nicest of cards in there, but it's better than it just being plain and blank. So the other thing that happens is this gets put onto there, and that's the pocket where the tags go. So we really need to get decorating. That's what we need. So here's a doily. Here's what I made earlier. I'm not used to this, I tell you. I'm so disorganised, it's untrue. Usually, I'm really trying hard today to be organised. And I want to put that on the top. I'm not quite sure how far down I want it to go. I want to be able to see this nice edge. So maybe to about there. Yeah, I I think that's where I want it. So I'm just going to put a little pencil mark there and there, which is going to tell me where to glue up until. So I'm just going to fold that over there. And, oh, you're up nice and close today. Up close and personal. Where's this mark on this side? There it is. So that's what's going to be showing on over here, like that. That's nice, isn't it? It's pretty. Right, so I'm just going to cut off some of this stuff that we don't need. Now you may remember, or not of course if you haven't been watching me, other parts of this boho journal I've explained to you that I use two sheets put together. So this will be one side, but there will be another one sewn onto here, which enables me then to stick on the reverse, to sew, do whatever I want to do, because it's going to be covered by the other sheet that's going to be on the reverse. So you don't have to be worried about being too tidy. I dyed this doily with one of my Tim Holtz distress dyes. It was very easy to do. I just ran the distress ink over the doily. I wasn't sure whether it would take it evenly or not, but it did, so I'm pleased about that. Once again, this is just glue stick. It's adequate for sticking paper to paper. Might have to trim a little bit off the end there, but that's fine. I don't want to tear this when I pick it up. It's quite fragile. Just be a little bit careful with it. I'll just get a wet wiper to clean that up. Well, you know, I say that I don't mind what goes on the back, but you know, it's a limit. I don't need that amount of glue. It'll stick it to the board. Right, so this is going to go. Oh, it's just started to snow. There, I think that's where we had the marks. Oh, that looks nice. So, ooh, I'm just going to fold this over and stick it down. It's really, because doily, I mean, you all know how delicate doilies are to use, and this, of course, is covered in glue stick, so it is quite fragile. So I don't really want to take my bone folder to it. I've just got a little bit of a wrinkle there, because you don't want to take your bone folder to it, you just end up with it torn. I'm just going to snip the edges off. Right, so that's the start to the decoration of the back. I'm not saying that's all we'll do to that. We might add bits to it as we go, but that's kind of that. So the next bit that we need to think about is this bit. That's nice, actually. It's just a really nice height for there. So, what decoration are we going to put on there? Well, I might start with this one, actually. I have got some really nice flowers that I got from Hobbycraft, and some rose lace that I got from AliExpress. I've got some trim that I thought would look really nice on there. That just, it brings everything together. It's really pretty. That's the rose lace, if I were to put that on. Lace rose, sorry. Which does look nice. Or I could use these. I bought these some time ago. I haven't had occasion to use them yet, so I want to see what they look like. Maybe one larger and one smaller, like that. Yeah, quite like that. How would that look with this along there? I think it looked very nice. The whole idea of this borehole journal is when you think it's too much, add some more. That's kind of, you know, the effect that we're going for. So I think the first thing that I need to do really is to sew this braid on along there. And it looks like it's quite prone to fraying. So I need to allow myself plenty. I'll cut it off there. Oh, little beads have come off it. That's all right. I can use them for another project. Or a little dingly dangly. So I'll keep them, make sure I keep them. Right, so I'm just going to sew this on. I don't know if there's a right side and a wrong side. I don't think there is. Okay, I'll be back in a second. Well, what is it they say? The best laid plans of mice and men. I was so determined today that I wasn't going to have any problems and I was going to be all prepared. And I went to sew this on the machine and it was just awful to sew. So I've stuck it on with tacky glue. I've brought it round the back and stuck it on. So it's not quite dry yet, but it's kind of dry enough for us to continue. Whilst I was doing all that, I've actually bought and downloaded Artie Maze's Bohemian collection, and there's a journaling card in there. That's it, which is a dictionary definition of a bohemian: gypsy, wanderer, musician, artist or writer who lives a free-spirited life and believes in truth, freedom and love. So I've just chopped the top bit off because that's what suits my purposes. It's a bohemian, a noun meaning gypsy, and my intention is to put that there and then put these little flowers there. I quite like that. I'm going to have to move it in sufficiently that I can get the machine around here, so it needs to come in a little bit further than that. That's fine, I'll be able to get the sewing machine in there. So I'm just going to stick that down. I quite like that actually. I like it. It's off the sort of thing that's going to fit in nicely with our journal, I think. So I have to bear in mind that I need that in sufficiently, so about there, I think. This I can squash down with my bone folder. I'm hoping that's square. Right, so these I think I'm going to have to stick on with my hot glue gun. I don't think, maybe if I had Fabri-Tac or something, but I don't, so I'm going to stick them on with my glue gun. So a good splodge of glue on the back there. So press it down until it cools down a bit. Encourage it to stick. There we are, and then this one's going to go there. Once again, I'd quite like to get room to get my sewing machine in. So a bit higher up, possibly there. Blimey, you can only barely read that sign now. But I think you can. Yeah, there you go, you can. That's fine. So another bit of hot glue on the back of that one. And put that over there like that. A bit of pressure. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. So I'm hoping that this is dried now. So that's okay. These are the bits that I chopped off. I didn't really wanted to fray like mad. So this is the pocket that's going to have the little booklets in, and it's going to go there. Whilst I was waiting for that glue to dry, I was having a look at this, and I think this is just a bit too fragile to hold 2 books. It's, as I said, it's copy paper, but I think it's 120 GSM, so it's relatively thick copy paper, but I'm just afraid that it's not thick enough for people continually putting books in and out. So I've just got some scrap paper here that I'm just going to reinforce this back with. And then I'll feel happier about it. I'm sure it would be all right, but it would just forever be nagging at me. You know, is it going to tear? Is somebody going to tear it? Because that would just be awful if that happened. So I'm cutting inside the pencil line that I've marked. And I'm going to go around the edges with Distress ink, just in case somebody ever sees it. Let's just check that that's okay. Still a wee little bit long. Let's check that. Yeah, that's fine. It's absolutely fine. So I'm just going to go around that with peacock feather Distress ink, which is this bluey colour. As its name suggests, turquoise, and it's the one that I dyed the doily in, so it all kinds of matches up. I'm just going to go around the top of this as well. I like that actually, I like that effect. There's no stopping me now, I'm off round the edges. I really don't know which is the right way to do this, the way that I've just done it or the way I'm doing it now. You get a sort of a gentler blend if you do it this way. That is for sure. Right, so that's quite pretty. I quite like that now. And it's better for having been done. I'll just pick up this excess. And we'll stick this onto here. I could be being completely over the top about this. I won't be surprised if I was. But I'd rather belt me braces than this pocket tear. And somebody think, oh, well, she hasn't made a very good job of that. That would be awful. There we are. Take the folder, squish it out. Shows good contact there, as you know. Right. So that, oh yeah, that looks really nice now. It looks much more part of the whole thing. And I really like these flowers on here now as well. It's coming together nicely. So the next thing really that we need to do is to do the booklets. And this is the paper that I've chosen to do the booklets in. But now I'm having second thoughts. Okay, so I decided eventually, after auditioning several different ones, to go with this, which I just think looks nicer. It sits better with me. And I've put this this fabric, I've chopped a little bit out of it and I've put it on over that leading edge of the book. I've also decided to strengthen the spine because it is going to be folded, and it is a book after all, so it's going to be open and closed. So I don't want it to fall apart. So the thing to do is fold this. I have glued this on actually, and it's got quite good contact there. I'm just going to push that trim really firmly onto there, back and front, and the other one. Make sure it's folding nicely. Need a bit more glue down there. I'm using my tacky glue here, quite excessively there actually, but that's okay. Make sure it's stuck. Get a wet wipe off that surplus. So yeah, that's fine. Lovely. Right, so we'll use this one because I think it's drier and whatever, and I just want to cut that off square across the top and at the bottom. And then I've got some book pages that I've got. Well, actually, before I put the book pages in, I want to show you what idea I've got for decorating them. In the Artie Maze kit, there was quite a lot of tags and journal cards and whatever. So I printed them out, and I think they'll look quite nice on the front cover. So now you're asking the question, why was there such a fuss about what the book cover was going to be? Well, it has to be right. And, you know, on the back, it is right. And you can still see the border around there, which I'm happy with. I like it. And this other one, it will have the other two parts of the Bohemian that we used for the front on there. So I might just cut that down a little bit. It's just a little bit too wide. For my liking. There we are. That's a little bit off here as well. Yeah, that's nice. I like that. So we'll stick those on before we deal with the paper in the book, and it's just glue stick. Blimey, you've got to be strong to get the lid off those. I think these are perfect for the front cover of our little booklet. And the little booklet will afford quite a lot of journaling space for whoever eventually ends up with this book. There we are, I think that's fine. Lovely. That's nice. Just do the same to this. You don't really want anything that's sort of too textural, because it's going in and out that pocket, and I don't want it to sort of catch. On the pocket when it's going in and out. don't know why I cut this in half. I just did. It just looked right. There we are. So that's the fronts of our little booklets done. Now then, the paper inside, I've already cut to size. Just needs a little bit of glue along there. I've already cut to size. And I had 2 piles, and now I think all together. No, I've still got 2 piles. So there's 8 sheets in each, 8 for each booklet. I think that's plenty without being silly. You know, you could add more, but I think that's sufficient. So don't make them smaller, slightly smaller than the booklet. And don't put them right up to the fold, because your book won't fold then very well if it's got bulk right up to the hinge. So I'm just going to take that to the sewing machine, and I'm just going to sew down there. Okay, so I've got these, the paper sewn into here, just a straight stitch down there with the machine. If anybody wants to know tensions and stitch lengths and whatever, feel free to drop a message underneath, but I can tell you it is a very straightforward straight stitch. Nothing tricksy about it at all. So there's our little booklets, and they will go, let's bring this in, they will go into the back pocket. Kind of like that. And this one, I can't hold it and do it. That one like that. So we've got 2 nice booklets in there. Lovely. Right, so next thing we need to do is attach this to here and then make the tags that are going to go in there. So I think I'll start with the tags because they're going to take some drying time, and I can do the rest of it whilst I'm waiting for them to dry. So I have got a video on YouTube about making tags from a baseboard. This is the baseboard. It's a piece of card, thinnish white card, and I've collaged all manner of papers over it, just with decoupage gel I use, but you know, Mod Podge, matte medium, anything at all that you want to stick your papers on with. I then carried on using stencils, stamps, or whatever came to hand really, and I finished off with this sort of black webbing is a thing called Krylon, that if you go and have a look at the video that I made about making tags from a baseboard, you'll see exactly how I did it up to this stage. Now then, the tags need to be big enough so that they stick out the top, but not monstrously large. So about that sort of length, I would say. I've got a white pastel here, that might be the thing to mark it with. No, I'll use my China crayon pencil. These are really good, they're made by Sharpie, and they're called China markers, and they will actually go over onto glass, metal, or over anything that you've got. You'll get it to make a mark. So I don't think they're the cheapest thing in the world, but you know, they do last, and you've got a little tag then, you just unpeel it and unwrap it as you wear down the pencil. Right, so let's cut that off. Okay, now then, shall I make 2 or 3? I think possibly 3 smaller ones would look better in there, more interesting. So let's just see what that measures, and then we'll divide it into 3. It measures nearly 6 inches. Okay, so we'll mark it at nearly 2, nearly 4, and then nearly 6. That will be fine. I think it's more interesting to have 3 smaller ones than 2 big fat chunkers. Actually, that one on the end looks much bigger. That one on the end is over 2. Less than 2, less than 2. Okay. My measuring's not great. So I'll put that there, and then see where half of that is. No, it is about half. So there we are, we've got 3 would-be tags. So the next thing to do with these, to pretty them up, is to use, well, I use anyway, these Jane Davenport paint markers, colour sticks they're called, she calls them. The same, as far as I can see, as Tim Holtz Distress crayons or Faber-Castell gelatos. And I'll just get a wet wipe, because I use that as part of the... Now then, the colours that we have on here are this bright pink, so I'll use that. This bright sort of turquoise, and, well, there is an orange, but I don't know if I want to use an orange. I haven't got it anywhere else apart from here, so I might just use that darker one. So we've got those 3 colours. Aren't they delicious, actually? Actually, I'll just chop off the... make it tag shaped. I don't want them journal cards. So I've got a little... I think that might be too big, actually. I've got some... what do you call them? Pattern pieces, really, I suppose, for want of a better word. Templates, thank you, yeah. That I use for cutting out my my tags. Try and get the edges the same, the little nicks looking the same. And just do this before we put the colour stick on. Certainly keeps you amused, doesn't it, doing a junk journal? There's plenty to do. When you consider I haven't actually even made a complete page. Right, okay, that's fine. So, with our colour sticks, I'll start with this one because it's closest to me. I'm going to save that one for the pink because it's got quite a bit of pink in it. And I'll use this colour on this one. So you just gently go around the outside. You don't need to put too much colour down because it really does move once you put a wet wipe near it. You get quite a bit of colour, more than you'd anticipate. So with the wet wipe, I just wrap it around my finger and then I just smoosh it out like that. And in fact, you can use water with this. In fact, that's what Jane Davenport recommends. But I find when you use water, you get quite a harsh line of where you've stopped. Whereas with a wet wipe, it's more gentle blend. So there's one done. They look gorgeous. This one's the pink one. Same again. This is why I wanted to nick the corners off the top so I can actually get round the proper shape of it. Because it's been collaged, it's not smooth, so it's that's why it's skipping over the top a bit. But it's fine, because once we go in with the wet wipe, it moves around. And I think you'll agree, these are really pretty. And I mean, they're just so easy to make. But there's something different, you know, not everybody has these in the journal. And this one, maybe I should do that purple. Purple would be nice on there, I think. So there's quite a lot of purple in that background there, so that'll pick that up quite nicely. Yeah, as I say, if you have a look on my previous YouTube videos, you'll see there is one that's called something like making tags from a baseboard, or I don't know. You'll recognise the tags anyway, because they're the same, just bigger. Which is why I couldn't use them for this, because they're large. It's like Granddaddy, isn't it? Granddaddy tag. Well, that's the thing, if you make your own baseboard, you can cut out any size you want. So there we are. That's a lovely little 3 tags made. Now, on the ones that are on the existing video, like this one off the top, for example, I've used liquid pearls, which I really like. I'm a bit of a pash on liquid pearls, to be honest with you. And I've also put foil on, really glittery metallic foil. And I'd like to do that with these. They're really, really pretty the way they are. But just, well, I'm going to say it, guys, just for the sake of completeness, I'm going to put some foil on there. So I need to put the size on, then we need to set them aside for it to dry. Okay, so if you watch the other video, you'll have seen that I use well, it's a glue pen, but it's actually a pen that's got size in. And size is a particular glue that you need if you're going to use metal foils or metal leaf. The brand is Foil Art, and I got this at Hobbycraft. They come in a pack with the foils, or you can buy a pack of these on their own. So all you do is, all I wanted to do was make just a random sort of spider's webby type pattern, similar to this one here, just so it didn't look like anything, just random, which is what I've done. And I've allowed them the 10 to 15 minutes that you're supposed to allow for them to dry. When the glue goes on, it's white, and then when it's dry, it's clear. So let's use the turquoise on the turquoise. These are the foils that you get, just little rolls like this, and there is loads of use in them. You know, after you've used them, don't for heaven's sake throw them away, because there's still loads of foil on there that you can still use. And this one I used, I don't know if you can see that, it says birthday, it was someone's, but you maybe can just make it out there. I foiled happy birthday on a card, but there's still plenty foil on there. You might have to put it on several times to get a good application, but there's plenty. You just put it on, press it down. Make sure that the colour is facing up. Don't have it that way. It's kind of counterintuitive. You want to put it down that way, but make sure that you don't. Make sure you've got the bright side facing up, and rip it off. And there we are. Look at that. You see that? Beautiful foil. I just run my finger over it just to make sure that I've caught everything. I think I have. So that's the turquoise one done. The pink one, I shall use pink. Press it down fairly firmly. You don't have to wait or anything once it's pressed down. Just rip it off like an elastoplast. And oh, that one's gorgeous. It's really nice. So, purple. Well, I haven't got a purple. So, because we've got gold in there, I think I'll just put gold in it. I think that'll be okay. Just cut that end off. It's just going to annoy me forever. So you can see I've had a couple of goes with this already. You can see where it's been. Just use the same bit again. And if you have to go stick it on a couple of times, that's fine. Might just be some bits that I haven't quite caught. So you just plonk it on again. There we are. Oh, I'm glad I put gold on that. It looks really nice. So this was the set. Actually, there might be an extra one in there, I don't know. I think you can buy them individually. I've never have, I don't think. I've always bought them in a set like this. I mean, there's green and red in there and gold, which is screaming Christmas at me. Although, actually, it's only February, so I've got a while to wait. So that's our 3 tags completed as far as the front's concerned. What you do need to do, or what I would advise you to do, you don't have to, is to line the back with some coffee stained paper, coffee stained if you want to. I've actually stained some paper purple and some blue. So this is what I'll do. I will back them in that, and then I'll sew around the outside of them, and then they'll be finished. And just, I'm going to put little ribbons in these ones. And just eyeball it and see. I think that's about right. So there we are. So they'll all get that, but they'll all be backed nicely and sewn around with a zigzag. So this is the little pocket. I've sewn that on. This is the big pocket that the booklets go into. I'll show you in a moment. I'm just going to pop these in here so you get the idea of what they're going to look like. They're so pretty, these tags, they really are. So let's bring that along over a little bit. There we are. Right, okay. So this is the back with our doily on. Then the 2 little, well, quite large actually, booklets go in there. They do go quite a way down to the bottom. I want that one on top of that one so you can see both the edges. And then that goes on the top. So that's kind of what it's going to look like. Now, you're asking yourself, or I would be, why is she not sewing it down? Well, you might remember that I do a back to this. And when I've done the back, I will sew them together. I'll just give you an example here in this Elizabeth Holden one. In fact, this is a one very similar to what we're doing today, with the little tags in, the little booklets and whatever. And then on the back, which is what I'm going to do, I'm going to put a large pocket and a large tag, which, you know, obviously you can journal on. There's quite a lot of room on that. And then when that's all finished and the pocket's sewn on, then I will sew the 2 pieces together. I've done it on all of the pages, and I think it looks nice. I like that effect. So pretty much that's us finished for the time being till we get the back done. So join me next time. We'll do the back, we'll join it all together, and we'll have another page done of our boho journal. Thanks for joining me. See you next time. Bye.